Just turn the air off because it was blowing on us and it was cold.
Just quiet down, people. Quiet down. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the McIntosh County Board of Education's work session for October 1st, 2025. If you would please stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Our Father God, we thank you and praise you again for this day. Thank you for your many, many blessings. We thank you for your continued blessing upon our school system, that you'll continue to keep them safe, continue to give us guidance and wisdom. These blessings we ask in your Son, Jesus' name, we pray and give thanks. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3, citizens address the board. Okay. All right, number 4 is the approval of our work session agenda. Could I have a motion? Motion by Mr. McIver. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Struggles. All those in favor? Okay, motion carries 5-0. All right, Dr. Williams.
All right, well, I sent y'all the information about the graduation rates, and did y'all see Kathleen put it on the front page of the
I did.
newspaper today? And then she asked me to do an article, so she's going to print an article next week. So Todd and I both put a little quote in there and talked about what we do with students to kind of make sure they stay on track. And Prissy shared this morning that usually going into a school year, it's sitting at 80-something%. If we stop school today, how many would graduate? And with this senior class of 2026, they're already above 90% if we stop school today. So that's pretty good. We're making some progress there. It is a smart crew. They're very competitively smart. Like they all are striving to try to be number one.
Which is good.
All right, we have some curriculum updates from Miss Riles. I asked her to we hadn't heard from curriculum in a minute, so.
Curriculum, preschool, cognitive.
Give it to us.
She's been smiling today instead of last week. I think we all looked a little stressed over Cognia, so.
It's about to do us in, but
we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it.
Okay. It is my pleasure to give you kind of a short update on curriculum. I wanted to start with academic coaches. I know that has been a huge transition this year. A lot of discussion and maybe some contention at times. But I think it is going very, very well. They are some of the most hardworking, dedicated, professional people that I'm blessed to work with. It has truly been a learning curve for all of us, but I would like to say that I think they're doing a lot of really, really good things in the schools. With that being said, we wanted them in schools and in classrooms, and that is where they are. They are in the schools. They're in all 3 schools every week. So every Friday at 8:30, we have a standing appointment, and we review, we reflect on what they have done that week, what went well, concerns that they may have, things that we need to continue to work on, and we also plan for the next week. So I usually have except for this week because we were at GASIS, but typically before I leave on Friday afternoon, I have their schedule sent out to the district leadership team and the principals and assistant principals, so they know what they're going to be doing in their schools the following week. They're very busy right now. They are working on coaching cycles with all new teachers in our district, so they have that ongoing right now. And they're also working with a few teachers that have already been pinpointed by principals as needing a little bit of additional support. And that will evolve, and they'll get more on their caseload as we move through the year. They're also just visiting classrooms, doing some informal walkthroughs, giving positive feedback. I've also had them going into our intervention classes at each school, so we can kind of get a better idea of what's going on in those intervention classes. And we've already had some discussion, and we'll continue to have some discussion on how we can improve our intervention blocks. And the high school has been very cooperative in taking their feedback, and I think they're already making some changes out there. So
Adjusting their
really,
schedules as needed.
excited about that. They are instrumental in leading our visible learning effort at Todd Grant and at McIntosh Middle School. So they are instrumental in that. They will continue to lead that charge. They also facilitate the monthly visible learning meetings at those schools. They facilitate PLCs in each school every week. Right now, they are the primary facilitators. Our goal is to eventually have teachers leading more of those PLCs as opposed to the academic coaches, because we want to empower those teachers. When they take ownership, then the outcomes are more meaningful, I think, for them. They also are overseeing the mentees at each school. As I said, they're doing coaching cycles, but they also try to check on them informally, like at least every other week. And then at the end of the month, they also hold a mentee meeting with them. So they can sit down kind of informally. How are things going? You know, do you have the support you need? What do you need? What can we do? So I think those are going very well. They're also instrumental in our backward design. That is one of our district initiatives. So they've worked with teachers over the summer to do some planning for Units 1. Now they're working on fine-tuning Units 2. They're actually working with teachers this week at all 3 schools on reviewing their unit assessments, giving them feedback, also their unit plans, making sure that rigor is there, and we're focusing on student engagement as well, and to make sure that we are using best practices in instruction. Also, a major component of their job is professional learning. They are doing a stellar job with that, actually. At the district level, we just had some professional learning at the district level with us, the leadership team at the district level, and the principals. And we were focusing on learning about the redesign of that new ELA assessment that we're all going to be learning more about this year and giving in, well, actually, the high school will take it in, 40-something days, and then the end of grade will be in the spring. But they're doing visible learning training, backward design, they're still working on that. Vocabulary instruction, we know vocabulary is a weakness across our district, so they actually just did some PL at all 3 schools on effective vocabulary instruction, and I think that went very well. So I think the teachers were actually very excited. And so hopefully, we are very good about monitoring what we expect. So it's not like a one and done. We circle back around and we do a lot of monitoring. Okay? Any questions about academic coaches?
Hey, when you do the PLCs, do y'all have enough so that like in 5 years, when you have to be recertified, that you have the PLCs you need for that recertification? Are they offered through the school system, or do they have to go outside the school system to get them?
No, they can get their hours right here during PIP. Yeah, that's why we do it.
So,
it's not why we do it, but it's a part of the reason we do it. But that job embedded professional learning is very important.
So just a curiosity question. Does McIntosh pay for the teachers to be recertified, or does that come out of, or they pay for that individually?
You don't have to pay, I don't think.
There's not a pay.
The Liberty County always paid for mine, but
They don't have
but
to
some
pay.
school systems do not. Like they pay for my fingerprints and everything.
I don't know.
I don't think there's a cost.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, there is for recertification.
Not for them.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's that anymore if they're just recertifying. If they're upgrading or whatever, that would be on them.
Okay, so it's on them. So we don't pay for it.
And PSC now doesn't require like we used to have to do those 10 hours every 5 years. They don't require hours anymore.
Okay.
They just require that you've been doing something, and you have to do that every year in the TEACS platform.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different, and I'm sure it's going to be different with the new evaluation system that comes out. We don't know anything about yet, so.
Of course. They always like
That's
to
good,
change
good.
stuff.
They just keep changing, yeah.
Okay,
We love
well,
changing
as you
stuff for the
all are
school
aware,
system.
in the state of Georgia the past 2 years, there has been a focus on early literacy skills. So this year, our legislators passed a new bill HB 307, which is our Early Literacy and Dyslexia Act. It consolidated the two prior bills, which I think was SB 48 for dyslexia and 538 for the Georgia Literacy Act. So now they're under one umbrella, which is kind of helpful to us. But I am very pleased to say that we are in compliance with all the requirements of that bill at this time.
We were ahead of schedule.
We were actually ahead of schedule. We have completed our beginning of the year screening, and we have that data. And as Dr. Williams just said, we have already submitted that data to the state. It was actually due today, but we did it about 2 weeks ago. So very excited about that. We are required by the state to use high-quality instructional materials, and there is a list of materials that we had to choose from. Well, we had actually already chosen a high-quality instructional material that happened to be on that list, and it's MyView reading curriculum. So we are using that. We do have a bundled approach. We are also, in addition to that, although MyView has a strong phonics component, we are supplementing it with Heggerty, which we are seeing amazing results. I happened to be in a preschool class just last week, and it was already amazing what those little students are, and I'm sure you're seeing it with Riley
yes.
when she comes home.
She has
do
to.
the handbooks
She
this morning?
does, and if you don't do it right,
And they're making words and putting them together.
yes, because I did rainbow one day and I didn't clap, and I had to start over. And then she had to write my name on her hand like Miss Griffin does. Yes.
For that individualized instruction later, yes.
Oh yes.
And so, so we are in compliance with HiQ materials. We are also in compliance with our screener. So we were using MAP for our universal screener, and we really liked MAP, but MAP did not make the cut. So we had to choose a different screener. So we went with STAR, the STAR Essential Suite, which is a Renaissance Learn product. We used it previously. It has changed a little bit. So we are now, Miss Lane's had a time with STAR, with the student information system end of that. But we have, successfully, with a few bumps, completed the beginning of year screener. The data is already in. But our K-3 students are required to take the STAR Early Literacy, which it focuses on, it's a computer adaptive test that focuses on foundational skills. And then in addition to that, they are required to also take or be administered one-on-one with a teacher, some, what we call CBMs, that are content-based measures. They're like 1 minute, very short assessments to check a child's oral reading fluency, letter naming, and like letter sound recognition. So once all that data is compiled, we look at it. The bottom 10th percentile of those students are considered to be significantly at risk. And so by Georgia law, we have to write individualized reading plans for those students. And we also, as a part of that reading plan, we provide an intensive tier 2 intervention that is research-based. We have research-based interventions that we use. And then we also progress monitor that student. Because the goal of this legislation is that we want all of our students reading on grade level by the end of 3rd grade. Well, first grade, 2nd grade, but we definitely don't want anybody lagging at 3rd grade. So that's the bottom 10%. We progress monitor. If they're making adequate progress, then we just kind of let it go as the data shows us. If they are not making adequate progress, then we give them a more intensive intervention. We move them up to tier 3. And then at that time, we also have to complete the dyslexia rubric, which just gives us more information about what their deficits may be. And then we progress monitor. Then we use all that data to make decisions beyond that. Do we need to refer them to SST? What do we need to do to support those children? The STAR screener data is reported to the state 3 times a year. So we do beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year data. So it is by the State Department. Any questions about our literacy act? Okay. Okay, and then that brings us to STAR. I've just talked a lot about STAR. But STAR, we chose to use it across our district, even though we're required to use it K-3. We're using it K through 12. It is a suite of assessments. Early literacy, CBMs, are used by our youngest learners in kindergarten through third grade. But we also use STAR reading for our readers. A lot of our third graders are taking the STAR reading, but we use STAR reading and STAR math for our 3rd through 12th graders. Now, with that being said, if a child scores, I believe it's 852 or 853 on STAR early literacy at whatever grade level, 1st or 2nd or 3rd, then they are automatically bumped up to the STAR reading. That means they have good foundational skills. The beginning of the year screener, like I said, has been completed at all 3 schools. The principals have reviewed their data with their school leadership, and they've also shared that data with teachers so that they can kind of get an idea of where the school is. But also teachers have dug into their own data, and I do know this because academic coaches have helped to facilitate that process as well. But they have looked at their own data, and they are using that data to drive instruction. And what I mean by that is small group reading, small group math, where it's more targeted. They're using that data to make those decisions. STAR also, because it's a computer adaptive test, and it also gives individualized student instructional plans. It will let you know what they're doing well and what they need to work on. So I do know at the elementary school, all of those teachers have been provided with those instructional plans. And they have reviewed them with the academic coaches so that they know precisely how to use them. And the middle school is also using those instructional plans to drive their instruction so that they can meet the needs of those students.
And I know the elementary school's doing a very good job of monitoring small group instruction and what those expectations are this year.
So those expectations were clearly set and actually, again, by academic coaches. They were clearly set, and they are being monitored, and even by the administrators in the school. Our hope is to work on more small group instruction at the middle school, because it doesn't matter what grade level you're in. We can all benefit from some individualized instruction to help us meet our needs. All right, any questions about STAR? It's going. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to mention is that you are all aware, I'm sure you've heard, that there has been a redesign in the GMAS ELA assessment. So we are learning as much as we can about that because we want our students to be successful. Again, our academic coaches facilitated, they put together a really nice presentation for district leaders and principals about a week ago. And we spent a lot of time having really good, productive conversation about the ELA GMAS redesign because we really want our students to be prepared. Each school has a faculty meeting scheduled within the next 2 weeks, and the ACs will go there and they will re-deliver the same information that they delivered here at the district office. And then they're going to follow up with those teachers during PLCs, and they're going to sit down with them and have conversation and develop a plan for how they can best incorporate those strategies and instruction into their daily lessons so that students are familiar with the format of that new assessment, because it is going to be a good bit different. I would like to invite Mr. Massa. He is our testing expert coordinator, and he knows a lot about the GMAS redesign. We've been talking a lot, so is there anything you want to say about it?
Well, I'll just say that it's so important that as the Board of Education you understand that this is a fundamental shift in how we are testing for ELA. For 9 years, we've tested the same way. When we went to the Georgia Milestones in 2014-2015 school year was our first test. It was a test that was based on 2 paired passages. And the reason that I'm going to speak a little bit about it because we are really focused on reading and writing across the curriculum. And there's going to be an intense focus on writing that's coming up. And it's a change. And it's going to cause a little bit of discomfort because when you write, it takes a lot of grading, it takes a lot of feedback on there, and it's going to be really intense. So, again, for 9 years, the test has been the same. This year, it changes. And the changes are dealing with how the test format looks. When the student opens up the test, they used to see just 2 paired passages, and they were to write on those passages and find evidence from those passages. This year, they're adding more passages, so they're also adding audio and charts and graphs. So when the student opens up their test, it could be overwhelming if they're not prepared, because on the side here, there's 2 passages full of details, an audio, a podcast possibly, a speaker speaking about something, and maybe some charts and graphs. They've got to analyze all of that information and then prepare a paper based on that, citing text evidence, citing things from those passages. So the move from just 2 passages to multiple with the audio is a big deal. And the reason it is such a big deal is because students could get overwhelmed. And so what we're talking about, and I'm going to concur with Ms. Riles, that our academic coaches have been excellent, and the district office has done a good job at rolling this out and getting everybody involved. What we're talking about is a shared understanding throughout the district. Instead of just the ELA teachers knowing it, we're going to the whole school and saying, this isn't just a ELA change, because science and social studies has to contribute for us to be competitive as we move forward. Because in a science class, 2 articles on cells, and then you write passages citing text evidence from those, supports ELA in a big way. So changing our instructional delivery is a huge task for us, and we're doing it systematically and checking the boxes off and making sure that this is a county-wide decision. And one other thing that I think has been one of our biggest accomplishments moving forward is we haven't forced anything down the teacher's throat and said, this is how you're going to do it. We came to the principals first, we laid it all out to them and said, and we deconstructed that test, which means we went through it and we looked at every single part and then said, what do we have to do in the classroom to prepare a student for it? Open, tough discussions about the changes that we had. Gave them a week to think about it, came back, and then we determined that we're going to go to the schools, have that same discussion, and then through our academic coaches and those PLCs, the teachers are going to come up with the plan for how we're going to actually address what the students do when they take the test. Because there's so many options. A lot of people like to read the questions before they read the passages. Is that the best plan? But we need to know as a system what we're going to do and how we're going to tell the students to work through that. So the teachers are going to come up with a plan. Now, do we have a solid plan that we want to see happen? Yes, but we're not going to just say this is what we're going to do. We're going to guide them, get the input, and maybe they're going to come and say, here's some things that we didn't think about. And as a shared unit, as a school system, we're going to come up with our actual plan that we can say, if it's for 9 more years that they keep this test as the same, think about a 3rd, 4th, 5th, moving through all the grade levels, who is able to experience the same process and get the same instruction. They just get more solid and more solid as they get through. So it's an exciting time in education, in my opinion. Every time you have these big changes, it gives us a chance to realign and gives us a chance to look deep into how we're delivering instruction. And this time, we're doing it different, in my opinion, by really seeking everybody's input and getting a shared vision of what we have to do. This year's test will be the first time that they're taking it. But it will count. It won't count for promotion and retention, but we're going to get a score from it. Yeah. Many years, the first year of taking the test, they didn't count that test. A little different this year. So we're excited, and we're working with a sense of urgency because, like Ms. Riles said, within 45 days, the high school takes that test. Brand new, never been taken, and we've got a lot of work to do. And then this year, when we get to the elementary school and middle school session of it, we'll really have some opportunities to be able to say, the kids had an opportunity to prepare themselves and work through examples just like the test a certain amount of time, rather than it be the first time they open it up is the way they see it. We're really focused on that, because included, to wrap it up, the other last piece that is new to the test is there's technology enhanced items that they hadn't had before. So instead of just picking A, B, C, or D as the correct answer, they might have to order things in operation and drag and click up and make things in order. There's a lot of technology in there that we have to prepare them for, and our academic coaches and Ms. Riles have done such a great job at finding the resources for these teachers so that they're able to know exactly where to go. We want to see it look just like the test. Here's where you go. Here's how you plug in the information. Forward thinking by Mr. Boone and Dr. Williams to get us AI that we have as the school system, smart schools, magic schools. It is awesome, and within that we put our rubrics in there, and we're teaching the teachers how to use that. So we've got a lot of great things going. So we'll just see how it goes out. It plays out, but I believe this year we're going to be in a good place for the long term. We're not just trying to do a magic pill and try to win on this one. We're trying to set the stage for maybe 9 more years. School system or the Department of Education doesn't stick with anything for 9 years ever. So it was huge that they did allow us that time with the old model, and we're hoping that they give us a little bit time with this new testing. And I said the last thing, but I have to be remiss to say why they're doing it. Students nowadays, when I go to look up something, I can remember buying a book on how to build a deck. No one buys a book on how to build a deck. What do? You do a Google search, and you get a YouTube video, you get a few articles, you get this, you get AI now. You say, this is the size of the deck. Gives you every piece of wood, every nail that you need, everything. But if a student goes to a source and picks that source and doesn't know how to critically analyze that, it could spell a lot of trouble. So the intention of this change is to help students be able to analyze multiple sources and then be able to synthesize those together and come up with their own thought process. So it really is meeting the needs of this day and age. These students that we have now are in a different position than we were. We looked in the encyclopedia. That's all we had. A couple books in the library. But the internet, you have to be careful, and AI, you have to be careful, because it's not always truthful. And if you're not able to critically be able to analyze what you're being told from multiple and then come up with what really is the truth, it could spell trouble for a lot of people. So I think we're going to do a good job preparing them. And we've got a great team up here at the board office with our academic coaches and Ms. Riles. And then the schools have been so receptive up to this point and understand where we're going. And with a shared understanding, I don't think we can be beat.
Cool.
You know I have a question.
Please.
When our students are doing expository writing, do we have the software that allows the computer to analyze that, or are our teachers having to individually read everything?
Magic School.
So we're using, so we have developed writing rubrics, and we have plugged those into Magic School, and our academic coaches have been working with those teachers on how to utilize that.
So they're
One of the reasons we bought it, because you can put your things in there and they can do it.
Consuming.
It is. The feedback piece of it is difficult. But even beyond that, there's going to be a lot of extra analyzing, because even if you put it in there, you still got to read the paper. You still got to read what the magic AI said about it and all that.
We do. But we've been using it a lot. We've even been putting our unit, last week the coaches were putting unit plans in AI and the assessment and getting feedback on how well it matches.
Yeah, because that is so time-consuming for
They've
staff.
taken that feedback back to teachers. That's what they were doing this week, working on reviewing that feedback with them during PLCs and tweaking those assessments and those unit plans.
You know, when you guys do your board comments, and then you're always so supportive on read. If possible, if you could start adding to that, right. That's the future right there.
And I think I left off talking about HB 30 whatever.
307.
307. We also have to train our teachers in science of reading, the ones that we have now. The teachers coming out of colleges now have that under their belt. So we have done a fantastic job of providing that training at Todd Grant. We aren't just focusing on K-3 teachers, we're focusing on K-5 and across content levels because all teachers are reading teachers. Dr. Williams and I have talked, and there's now an adolescent component of that has been put out by the state. And so we want to start rolling that out at the middle school after Christmas, second semester. But that won't just be for reading teachers, it'll be for all content teachers.
I love it.
And I'll just add one thing, because we talked about the 3 faculty meetings, and it's not just the academic coaches going to do that. The 3 of us are going as well to show how important it is from the district level.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
And then I just wanted to let you know for band updates that all his equipment's been ordered.
Cool.
He's very excited.
And he is so excited. MCMS, I think I sent that out this week, these next 2 things. MCMS just got a grant from Skills USA for their new chapter, and then MCMS also earned their Visible Learning Award, and there'll be an article in the paper next week for that as well.
Okay.
So, good. All right, that's my updates.
Okay. All right, we'll move down to B. Discussion of the minutes from the previous meetings. Please read over those. Get with Dr. Williams or Miss Lane if you have any issues with them. And Miss Tammy, we don't. Do we have them? Oh, we do.
All right.
Okay, yay.
I'm sorry. I actually meant to email those to you today, and I forgot.
No, it's fine.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
The meeting on the 1st of the month was hard.
Thank you, Miss Tammy.
I know after she
So
said.
we were wondering if that was going to be possible.
Well, after she said you may not have them ready, I didn't even go back and look again and look for them. So.
Ready. This
So
the
there's
first.
some interest missing on some of the accounts, but other than that, pretty much everything got in there. So general operating account, we began the month with 1.7 million. We had 1.2 million in receipts, 1.8 million in disbursements, leaving 1.1 million. I did not have to do a transfer in from the money market before payroll, but I'm going to have to do it like probably within a week or so. General fund revenue and expenses. Next page. General fund period to date revenues is 1.7 million, which is 8.47% of the budgeted 20 million in general fund revenues. General fund expenditures, 3.38 million, which is 16.7% of the budgeted 20 million of general fund expenditures. General fund equity with, at the end of September, 6.2 million fund equity in the general fund. School nutrition, $282,930 in the school nutrition account. Fund balance for school nutrition is $204,791. The money market account, no activity. Part of the interest posted, 5.79 million in the money market account. Local projects account, no activity, $247,400. East Lost Projects account, we had a transfer in from the debt service, Georgia Fund 1, and we had $230,000 of expenditures, leaving $10,351. There is a purchase order for that, so that will be spent out of there this month. And finally, the debt service account, the Georgia Fund 1 account, we had East Bluff's receipts of $196,830, and we had a transfer out of $240,000 into the East Bluff projects account, leaving $4.4 million in the Georgia Fund 1 account. And the September East Bluff receipts were 11.4% increase over the same time last year.
Cool.
That's good.
Questions over any of that?
I don't have any at this time. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
And
Worked
then,
hard to get those updates for
all right, and Ms. Tammy, the number
the
3.
next one's yours.
Okay, so I just wanted to put that on there in case we needed it. Like I said, I didn't need it this month prior to payroll, but we do need it after. So if they're giving that we will not have a tax digest till mid-October, I'm not expecting to see much tax revenue come in for the month of October. So we will probably need that, at least some of it.
Okay. All right. Number 4, discussion of nutrition surplus items.
These are just some items that are off of our inventory, and Rose just needed to put them on for us to surplus. So you see them there. Nothing major, nothing. I think some of them are as old as the high school. So, 21 years.
Wow.
You need that large steel pot.
I don't cook anymore.
So you gonna sell them?
The ones that can be sold, there's a couple she's put up for parts for things that, when we need them. So, I don't think anybody would use them. They might.
I don't cook.
They might end up at the dump. I mean, I don't know.
Scrap metal.
They're really old.
All right. Number 5, discussion of repairs for the transportation building.
Right. We talked about the need of fixing up the front fascia of the old board office of the transportation building. It is that tabby, and the tabby's got holes and actually falling off. And so we have a quote on there. I think it's going to be a wood, be really nice. We're not going to do tabby again. And then the next step after that will be an awning at front. But let's get that all buttoned up and sealed up and see how it looks, and then we can make a good choice on the awning. So,
And this was damaged in a storm.
right, it was storm damage and time damage. Even if the storm, that tabby was still
It's
gonna,
old.
still starting to fall off.
It's been on there for years.
You can't really power wash it. You can't do much with it, and it was looking kind of old and grim. Keep going. And then we have the fence at transportation. What I'm really most excited about, this project completes our fencing around the whole system. We'll have a quality fence around every one of our properties that is updated, hole-free, and secure. So, and behind the bus yard in that back where that neighborhood, you can actually walk through there, and you have been able to for a while. That goes right into our, can't drive out of there or anything, but it does allow access. So we'll have nice fencing around every one of our properties and up to date, and feel really good about that. So it's exciting to get that done. And in addition, the bus drivers has been struggling with their gate for a long time. It's after years of years, those gates, the poles and get out of line, and they're always coming off the track, this, that, and the other. So they're going to have some new gates that are included in that will slide really nice, and we'll be able to open and close that in a good way. So I think that's a really good use of our money to make sure that we're secured and safe in all of our
And this was in our local projects budget.
Yes.
From the beginning.
Mr. Massa, while we're on the transportation building, do we have cameras over there
Yes, sir.
that go through your yard? Okay.
Yes, sir. Done a good job covering that, I believe. We were talking about cameras, and
Just
just
this
so you
week.
know, we always use a couple more. There's always a blind spot.
Rusty, how many do we have? 300 and something in the system?
So excluding classroom cameras, we're somewhere around 340 cameras in the district. And believe it or not, we still have blind spots, the
Mhm.
340 cameras.
We just talked about
It's
that
a
this
lot.
week.
So number 6 was in our budget. What about number 5? That's just something that happened.
It was not in our local projects budget from the beginning.
And number 7, discussion of the driveway and parking lot for the A-wing. Now, I think that this is a smart move long-term and immediately. And immediately for the reason of we have a beautiful generator that's propane and it floods back there. You cannot even hardly drive through there. In this project, they're going to put drainage that goes into the ditch over there, and it will be properly drained. And what it is a road that comes from where you guys pull in all the way down, and then 2 parking lots, one right next to the building and one on the other side of the road, as well as a walkway up to the door that's right back here. And it's not just the gravel like Dr. Williams' parking spot and board's parking down there. This will be asphalt. It will be with a nice base. The gentleman that has come and given us this quote says that there'll be bulldozers in there. They'll do a proper base with rock. On top of that, the asphalt, all leveled the right way, and it will be as nice as the road out there coming off of that concrete pad. So again, thinking future, we have many options once we have that to do things if we choose to in the future with that. But it also will save us in the long run because we do have a lot of our personnel parking out there, and they're just tracking in and mud and wear and tear. It's an old bumpy dirt road, and to move us up into as nice as our facility is, that will add a really nice touch to it and be safe for us with our drainage, and the benefits are long-term, I think, for that addition to the back of our school here.
Is
Any
this
questions?
a local quote?
Yes, and the other part about that is it's not easy to get an asphalt quote, so we were really lucky and they're ready to work us in, and I really felt good. You get a good feeling from some people, and you say, oh, they're going to do the job, but this gentleman was so thorough and so descriptive about what the process is of really putting a road in, that I learned a lot, that it's not just scrape it down and throw some rock. It takes a lot of pre-work, leveling with equipment, and then the right base packed the right way, and then asphalt construction is its own game itself that has to be done right, and we're hoping for a really nice final product.
And we took this to Miss Franklin as a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and Miss Franklin's comment was, if we're going to do it and do it right.
And we talked about the phasing, and the gentleman said, yes, you can do it in phases, but every time you kind of start over because they have to redo the base phase and repack it and make sure, because we'll be driving over it, and if you know anything about dirt roads or gravel, it all gets pushed to the sides, this, that, and the other.
Every time he relocates that equipment to and from, you're paying for it. So
Right.
it's gonna
Is that
increase
a-
the cost.
Quote good for 30 days? Or
Yes,
how long is that
we're-
quote good for?
We're good.
Okay. I just, and I'm not opposed to any of these things, to make our facilities better. My concern is right now with the shutdown, how long that shutdown at the government's going to be in effect. And I know in the next week or two it's not going to trickle down, but if it lasts, it could. And are any of these immediate emergencies that need to be done that we couldn't wait, and kind of see how things play out in the next few weeks?
We could wait on this one if we had to.
I think the only thing that I would suggest, just due to rain and weather getting into that building, I would suggest we move forward with the transportation building. We don't want holes and cracks. We've done a great job sealing up the wall, or going to at the middle school. This would be in line with just needed repair. The other two, the fencing has been a hole in that fence for a few years, and it could wait, absolutely. And the
6 and
driveway
7 both could wait.
obviously could wait. Pending one of these storms, we'll work through that with the flooding.
Well, and that's just
We've done
my,
that.
you know, one opinion. I just, you know, you never know what they're gonna do. We don't know, you know,
Smart to think it through.
you just don't know.
Another driveway we need to consider is over there at Coastal Plains.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Very
That's
holy.
not, that's a big old hole over there.
Well, when Mr. Mix and I talked about that, we're going to fill that in for now, but we want to see until the proof is in the pudding. When we see that road and it looks great and we love it, then we can decide if we want to use them or move forward with them. But you're absolutely right. That will change the whole look of the front of the middle school. It's the entrance. That's where parents are starting to park to walk in.
Mhm.
So it's a smart plan to make that look as good as it can.
And we think we might have a fountain coming. Yesterday's little community, we might have a fountain coming.
Yeah, that was
For our little park
smart
out there, our
planning.
little
We
square.
have water and electricity already going right out to where a fountain could be, and we talked about that just yesterday. That being one of Oglethorpe's or original plans, being a square in the town, I think it adds value to our town and a place for our community to really say and look at the history of what's going on and say Oglethorpe Square was right here,
Mhm.
and a lot of teaching can come from that. All right.
All right.
Rustic.
Auditorium projector is item number 8. So for a couple years in a row, Mr. Willis has been asking for us to get a new projector for the auditorium. The current projector is not usable at all, so we've been rolling in interactive panels the size of what is on the wall right there, and in that building it's not quite enough for them.
Correct.
I've looked at multiple options, buying a gigantic portable panel that we can use. It's about the same amount of money as the projector, and we could use it in other places. Problem that we were running into is we can't get it high enough in that building so that they can also use the stage for an event while we've got a panel. So we went back to the projector. Like I said, the one that's in there is not usable. This is a full screen and projector and a full rewire because the current projector is using old VGA cabling. So I mean, it's basically starting from scratch, plus having to tear out the old stuff and starting over on the projector project.
So how would it come out of the,
So exactly
How
where
does
that
it-
projector is
yeah.
now, we'll pull that one down. They're going to keep the pole there, mount a new projector to that. The new screen, or the screen that's on the stage, they'll pull that screen down, put a new screen up, and then put in all the new wiring. They've got to rewire everything to HDMI so we can plug in modern laptops, because we can't plug in modern laptops to the cabling that's there.
did it used to get used a good bit?
20-something.
You know, I've seen it.
Yeah, got the, oh, that,
17 years I've been in and out of there. I have seen years where it's used a lot. I've seen years where it's not used a lot. I can tell you in the last couple years we've been rolling those panels in there a
yeah.
lot.
And then you really can't see when you're sitting in the back.
So-
It's not a
We
good
are
view.
seeing it used more. We've got community and school using it. Mr. Willis has had several things over the last couple years. He said, I'd love to have a projector in there. We could do more in there if we've got something to see. So, I mean, I know it's been a request from the school that we have kicked down the pipeline for a couple of years, and I think we're kind of at that point where they're begging, saying, hey, please, we really want to do some more things in here, and not having a projector is hindering us from doing them.
What's the average lifespan of it, and do we have a warranty on it?
So average lifespan of projectors, I say 5 years, but I think we could get 10 out of it. The life that is on the projector that they've got in here is a 20,000 hour life. I'll be honest, I've never seen one make it 20,000 hours. I do not know offhand, let's see if it's in here, what the warranty is off the top of my head.
No. Didn't read all of it.
If it's in here. If not, I will find that out before next week. not listed.
I don't think I saw it when I read
And
through it.
I
sometimes
don't
you
think
can
it's
buy
in
'em.
here, and I was wrong, it says 10,000 lumen
Car warranty.
projector, and I will find out on the light, but the, I've never seen one of those projectors last as long as they say they're gonna last. And yeah, the warranty is not listed in here, but I'll find out. I would expect that's one of the newer laser light projectors, what they call those. It should last considerably longer
Yeah.
than the projector that's been in there. I would say we put it in 2007, I believe, is when we put that projector in there, and it was, we used it up until probably about 2020 is when it stopped working officially. We put several bulbs in it, and that's about when it finally just croaked and said, you can't put any more bulbs in it, it doesn't work. We got a good life out of that one. I would hope we could do the same with this one.
For that amount of money, you hope so.
He's pointing at me now, so. Okay. All right, number 9, discussion of facility use agreement renewal for the Tiger Clinic.
It's the same. It's not nothing has changed. As Mr. Smith and I have been working on the Boys and Girls Club one, it reminded me that probably the coastal one had not been renewed, and it had not. And so one of the questions has come up from Boys and Girls Club is, could we do multiple years? And in talking with Mr. Smith, no, it needs to be every year, but you can do automatic renewals. So I told Ms. Woods from Coastal that, if this one's approved, then every October we would just renew it automatically unless there's some changes. She was good with it staying the same. I was good with it staying the same. So they've been a great partner for us. And then the Boys and Girls Club, we took this one. I think we talked about that at a meeting recently. That it's just like it. And Mr. Smith and I have lunch with Miss Judy Dodd on Friday because she has a couple of questions. So.
Still more questions?
More questions. Okay. But she's going to take us to lunch, so we go into lunch.
Let's get lunch out of it.
She just had a few questions, so we're going to go and sit down with her and talk through them.
Okay. All right. Then number 11, policy.
Yes, policies. All right, we started this in July, and we have adopted A through F. Next week, you will adopt G through H. November, we will finish the review. Can y'all believe that? J through M, we're going to go ahead and finish J through M. J is another really large section, but the other sections are not after that. So this month is I to review. I have sent you the manual. I have sent you my notes. Did anybody have any questions? Or if you have questions between now and then, please let me know. We did pull out IFBG because we had just approved it, and he had it exactly like what we had, and so because he was using the same from policy updates. And I said, but we don't need 2 different adoption dates because it had to go. Rusty had to submit that to DOE before today. So,
Okay.
so if you want to read through those and ask questions before next week, a lot came off, but a lot was updated, and they look a lot cleaner right now. So.
Is this the end of it?
No, we got one more.
Another section.
M, N?
J through M. This is I. We only have
so
I
it
right
ends
now.
at M.
It ends at M. And I have my meeting set up with him already for J through M. So.
Okay. All right, community engagement.
Oh, I forgot about this part. Okay, so family connection. We went through our compliance review. I think I sent that, or you might have seen it on her Facebook page. We passed. We got actually really good ratings, so we were excited. We did our tree planting in honor of Miss Genevieve. Chamber of Commerce, great coffee and connect. They were still bragging about that today. They were still talking about it today, our coffee and connect. So we really must have done a really good job with that. Reading volunteers, they have reinitiated that, I'll say, at the elementary school, and they're trying to do the same, like the second Friday or whatever day it is, the same day every month, so that it's easier. They're working with, I guess, Amanda and Megan are setting that up. I think they're the 2 that are working with that. And then McIntosh Grows our next big thing will be the civics bee. She is, Kat's going to go and sit down with the social studies teachers because it's open to all middle school students and for them to do their essay in social studies. So she's going to go talk to them. And then the IDA and the Anchors Up Mentor program is going really well. They all talking about that too, how much they love going to see our little sixth graders. So we appreciate their partnerships. And that's all I got for you, Chairman.
All
Madam
right.
Chair.
And no executive session tonight?
No?
All right, any board comments?
Awesome.
No board comment?
He said,
Save it for the camera.
same for the camera.
All right.
Read right.
Read right. Read right.
Everybody practice that before next week.
Right.
All right, we're adjourned.
Yay.